Did you ever watch Teacher's Pet? You know, the show about a popular school kid who's actually a dog? This show aired on ABC's Saturday morning kids block in the US, along with other shows like The Weekenders and Pepper Ann. Though like many of those shows, it was later aired on Toon Disney. But it follows the Helperman family and their dog Spot, who dreams of going to school and being, like Pinocchio, a real boy. And so one day he puts on some clothes, gets up on his hind legs, and just wanders into his owner's classroom under the alias Scott Led Ready II. But how does no one notice this? Well, firstly, it's a cartoon, so calm yourself. But Spot is just like overly smart due to his fascination with learning. In the first episode, even reminiscing on when he was adopted on a school trip and being intrigued by the lessons that day. And because of this, he becomes, say it with me now, Teacher's Pet. Though his owner Leonard does find out, which does lead to some animosity between the two throughout the show, cause Leonard, kind of a loser. But obviously being an undercover dog in a school where your owners also go can cause some issues. Like, who does Spot take to be his parent at parent-teacher night? Why is this kid so good at catching baseballs in his mouth? And how does he know that the cafeteria's Thursday surprise is actually dog food? And this show is also known for its songs, which how can you not have these when Spot is voiced by Tony Award winner Nathan Lane? And the rest of the cast here is pretty stacked, with Deborah Jo Rupp of That 70s Show fame voicing Mrs. Helperman, David Ogden Stiers voicing Leonard's cat Mr. Jolly, who you might recognize as the voice of Cogsworth from Beauty and the Beast, or Jumba from Lilo and Stitch. Jerry Stiller voices Pretty Boy, Leonard's canary, Wallace Shawn as Principal Strickler, Mae Whitman as Leslie, and while maybe not as popular as some of the others, Leonard is voiced by Sean Fleming, who also voiced Jim and Tim in Kim Possible. The show only had 2 seasons, but it did end with a theatrical movie of the same name in 2004, and perhaps gives us a little more lore to the whole talking animals thing, as the main antagonist is able to turn animals into humans and humans into animals. Which obviously Spot is insistent on becoming a human, which he does, only to see that the dog to human years ratio puts Spot as a middle-aged man, having him eventually come to the conclusion that he'd rather be Leonard's dog. I also want to talk about the animation style of this show too, because this show was actually created by Gary Baseman, who was also the art designer for the Cranium board games. You can see the art style is very similar here, and honestly I think the art design of these characters is one of the more standout elements of this show. But let me know if you ever watched Teacher's Pet in the comments, and make sure to follow for more of your childhood favorite shows.